Operators are pretty easy to understand, but there are a lot of them. So for this lesson, I'm going to be walking you through the learning platform that I created. For arithmetic operators, the first few should look quite familiar. We have plus for addition, minus for subtraction, star for multiplication, and slash for division. The percent sign is known as the modulus operator. The modulus operator performs division and returns the remainder. For example, 50 mod 10 would return 0 because 50 is divisible by 10. 51 mod 10 would return 1 because 51 mod 10 would be 5 with a remainder of 1. The remainder of 1 being the key part. This is what's returned by the modulus operator. After the modulus operator, we have plus plus for incrementing our variables and minus minus for decrementing our variables. So let's go ahead and copy this code into VS Code and try it out. In the code, we create a variable a equals 5, b equals 10, and then we start using our operators. So we have our sum, which would be a plus b, and a plus b should be 15. So in the console, we should get sum equals 15. For difference, we should get 5 minus 10, which would be negative 5. For product, we should get 50. For quotient, we should get 1/2. Now the increment and decrement operators are going to modify the value stored in a. So if we do a plus plus, that should increment a. So a after increment should be 6. And then if we redecrement it, a should go back down to 5. Running this, we see sum is 15, difference is negative 5, product is 50, quotient is 0.5. After increment, we have 6, and after decrement, we're back to 5. The plus symbol can also be used to concatenate strings. So let's go ahead and copy the string operator example. And in this example, we have a equals hello, b equals world. When we console log a plus b, we should get hello world. But because neither of these strings have a space in them, it should be hello world all as a single word. And when we run this, we see that we get hello world all as a single word. For our relational operators, we have greater than, equal to, less than or equal to, and then we also have operators for comparing equality. The operators for comparing equality might seem a little bit different. Remember, we can't use a single equal sign as the single equal is used for assignment. So for comparing equality, we either want to use the triple equals to see if two values are equivalent, or we want to use the exclamation equal equal to determine if two values are not equivalent. Now it is important to note that you can use double equals or not single equal, but these will do loose equality instead of strict equality. What loose equality is going to do is it's going to attempt what's known as type coercion. This will allow something such as the number 1 to equal the string 1. To be honest, there's not really any good reasons to use this, and most projects in TypeScript will actually be configured such that they don't allow these operators at all. You should always be using the triple equals or the not equals equals when comparing values. And now we can copy these examples into VS Code again and see what it looks like. So we have a equals 5, b equals 10, c equals 10, and then we have a whole bunch of operators. So if we run this, 5 is less than 10 is true. 5 is less than or equal to 10 is also true. 5 is greater than 10 is false. 5 is greater than or equal to 10 is false. 5 is equivalent to 10 is also false. 5 is not equivalent to 10 would be a true statement. 10 is less than 10 is false, but 10 is less than or equal to 10 is true. So you can see most of these operators would behave exactly as you would expect. As we mentioned, the single equal symbol is used for assignment. However, there are a few additional assignment operators that we can use. We have plus equals to increment and assign, minus equals to decrement and assign, star equals to multiply and assign, and slash equals to divide and assign. These are really just a shorthand convenience. If we look at the example code, we start with a equals 5. If we do a plus equals 25, this would give us a value of 30, as this is just a shorthand for a equals a plus 25. Then if we do a minus equals 15, we'll be at 15 since 30 minus 15 is 15. If we do star equals 3, that'll put us up to 45, as 15 times 3 is 45. If we do now divide equals 5, we'll be back down to 9, as 45 divided by 5 should be 9. Feel free to go ahead and run these yourself and try it out. Logical operators are where we start getting into the fun discussion. For logical operators, we have the double ampersand, which is the AND operator, also known as the guard operator. We have double vertical bar, which is the OR operator, also known as the default operator. And then we have the exclamation mark, which is the not operator. Let's go ahead and copy these examples into VS Code again and take a closer look. In this example, we create a variable called temperature. And then we create another variable called temperature is comfortable. And temperature is comfortable will be set if temperature is greater than 65 and temperature is less than 75. So currently we have temperature at 70. And if we run this, we'll see the first console log statement says temperature is comfortable, true. Now the next variable we create is called stay inside. And it says stay inside if temperature is less than 0 or greater than 100, which is not true in this case. So we see printed to the console, you should stay inside is false. For the next log statement, we're using the not operator, and this one's going to say you should go outside today, which is going to be not stay inside, which would be true. So in the console we see you should go outside today. Now let's change this example to have temperature equal to 105 and run it again and see what we get. So here, 105 is not comfortable. You should stay inside and you should not go outside. If you're struggling to understand the logical operators, let's look at a little bit of Boolean algebra and a truth table. So here we have a truth table where the first column is value in A. So it would be A is false, A is false, A is true, A is true. In the second column, we have values for B. So B is false, B is true, B is false, B is true. These are all the combinations of true and false for A and B. A and B, if A is false, is always going to be false. If B is false, it is also always going to be false. The only way in which A and B is true is if A and B are both true. On the other hand, A or B is always going to be true if one or the other is true, and the only way it will be false is if they're both false. One last thing to note is that the and or operators will do what's known as short-circuiting. For the and operator, if the left side is false, it doesn't matter what is on the right side of the operator, as that statement is always going to evaluate to false. Let's look at our example above again. Let's imagine temperature was set to 50. If temperature was set to 50, this left-hand side would evaluate to false. At that point, TypeScript doesn't even need to check the right side of the equation, as it will always evaluate to false. On the flip side, OR will short circuit if the left-hand side is set to true. Let's look at our OR example here and assume that temperature was -5. If temperature was -5, the left-hand side would evaluate to true, and at that point, stay inside is already going to be true. We don't need to evaluate the right-hand side at all. Short-circuiting is really just an internal optimization done by the programming language to ensure it's not doing unnecessary calculations. I hope this lesson was useful to you. If you want access to all of these notes, flashcards, quizzes, and assignments, then sign up to our learning platform. Link will be in the description.